Every now and then, it sounds like there's something walking. And every time I stop, it stops.
Remote forests and abandoned places are often written off as empty stretches of land, forgotten, silent, harmless. But sometimes they aren't empty at all. In this video, we're breaking down some of the most disturbing encounters ever captured in isolated locations. Moments where investigators, campers, and explorers stepped into places tied to tragedy and realized far too late that they weren't alone. If you're someone who gets disturbed easily, this might not be the video for you, and that's okay. But for everyone else, let's dive straight into our first case. November 4th, 2025 wasn't supposed to be different from Bear's other investigations. But this one would leave questions that still don't have answers. Bear, known online for documenting places soaked in tragedy, had built a reputation for going where most people refuse to stand still. Empty highways, forgotten buildings, land where history didn't stay buried. He wasn't chasing ghosts for thrills. He was chasing the truth left behind when people disappear. He returned to a place locals barely speak about out loud, a stretch of land unofficially known as Murder Road. For decades, bodies had been quietly discovered there, discarded, hidden, erased. And somewhere beyond the trees sat an abandoned oil well tied to one of the most disturbing cases connected to the road. Two young girls, found far from home, buried near the same site, different states, same end. Bear came alone. The last time he walked this road, it was after dark, and whatever happened that night was enough to make his wife refuse to ever return. Screams, gunshots, something that made the woods feel alive in the worst way. This time, there would be no one else behind the camera. As he stepped deeper into the trees, Bear powered on his equipment, a spirit box and a K2 meter, tools meant to pick up what human senses can't. He didn't expect anything right away, but the response came instantly.
All right, so I got the spirit box fired up, and we'll see what kind of responses we don't get back here.
I hated my life.
It just said, I hated my life.
Black eyes.
Black eyes. From mob activity, serial killers, and just people getting rid of...
Your house.
I'm from your house? What?
Don't go back there.
Oh, it said don't go back there. Something just thrown? Whoop!
You saw me.
It said you saw me.
Standing behind you.
Standing behind me. Ooh.
A voice broke through the static, clear enough to understand. I hated my life. Then another phrase. Black eyes. Bear repeated the words out loud, unsettled by how immediate and direct the responses were. The device crackled again, delivering something colder. Buried. Under the earth. The air changed. Bear paused. Something about the tone felt different, heavier. And then came the warning. Don't go back there. He acknowledged it, but he didn't stop. The oil well was close now. He could feel it. As he moved forward, something shifted nearby. A sound. Something thrown from deeper in the woods. Then the voice returned. You saw me. Bear froze. Another sentence followed, quieter, closer. Standing behind you. The feeling hit him before the fear did. That unmistakable sensation of being watched from just outside your vision. Still, he pressed on, forcing himself forward until the trees opened up. Two oil wells stood ahead. One was easily accessible, the other wasn't. The second well sat deeper in the woods, disconnected from any road, almost deliberately hidden. Near it stood a small structure, its walls scarred and torn apart by dozens of bullet holes. Not random, concentrated, intentional. Evidence of violence that didn't belong to the past. That's when the gunshot rang out. Close, too close. Bear reacted instantly, panic breaking through his voice. Seconds later, he heard something else. A low sound, almost a whisper. Then footsteps. Not branches snapping, not animals. Footsteps. Steady. Upright. Whatever was moving wasn't circling him. It was pacing him. Bear tried to joke it off, mentioning Bigfoot, but the tension in his voice betrayed him. He backed away from the oil well and made his way toward the abandoned road, trying to put distance between himself and whatever had been tracking him through the trees.
Look at all the bullet holes. It's riddled. Whew. Man, that gunshot was close. That scared me. That was weird when I was just back there, though, because I did hear somebody say something in a very low voice. Sounded decently close. I couldn't make out what they said, though, because, like I said, it was very low, though. Low tone. Listen. You can hear footsteps. You can hear something walking on 2 feet. Interesting. Maybe we got Bigfoot, my boy, out here. Okay, so I just got off the oil well road, and we are back on the main abandoned road.
Everything felt wrong. Too quiet. Too exposed. He was still far from his truck. And then the footage ended. No warning. No sign-off. No explanation. The most critical moments. Gone. What happened in the time we never saw? Did Bear encounter the presence that followed him through Murder Road? Was it something human or something far worse? That missing footage may be the most disturbing part of the entire investigation. Before we continue, if you're enjoying these spine-chilling explorations, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next campsite encounter because things are about to get even more unsettling. Nikki is no stranger to being alone. On her channel, she documents solo car camping trips in her Toyota 4Runner. Quiet nights, simple routines, and the kind of peace most people only find far away from cities. Her videos are calm, practical, and grounded in reality. No drama, no exaggeration. That's why what happened on her first camping trip of 2025 stood out. By the end of January, Nikki was finally healthy again after weeks of battling pneumonia. She'd been stuck indoors most of the month, restless, and ready to get back outside. So on January 31st, she did what she always does. Packed her gear straight after work, loaded the back of her 4Runner, and headed out. No over-planning, just the road, a camera, and a quiet winter campground. When she arrived, everything felt normal. She started setting up right away, pointing out details for the camera. including 2 picnic tables placed side by side near her site. At the time, it seemed like an unimportant detail. Later, it wouldn't be. Winter camping usually meant solitude, and that's what Nikki expected. Instead, she noticed more people than usual scattered throughout the campground. It surprised her, but she brushed it off and kept working, focused on insulating her sleeping area and staying warm through the night. While she was working up, someone walked up to her.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Nikki and this is Nikki TV. As you can see from the mess behind me, I just came home from work a couple hours ago and just threw everything in the back of the 4Runner, took out the bed platform, threw in a tent and a chair and some things, and we're hitting the road. Well, we made it to camp, so let's get set up.
I won't bother you at all, but I do start my van every once in a while. Like, I didn't set up my tent because it's pretty wet, obviously.
Yeah.
So if I bother you, just let me know. 'Cause
You're fine, because if I get too cold, I'm hopping my butt right in the back of that 4Runner.
okay.
And if you hear me talking, I promise I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to a GoPro.
Well, I talk to myself.
Well, I mean, I'm basically talking to myself. I still want you to think.
Just as long as you know, if you hear me out, and especially if I got my headphones on,
Yeah.
and I'm rocking, if I say, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally fine.
A nearby camper struck up a friendly conversation. Small talk, gear talk, nothing outwardly threatening. Still, Nikki acknowledged something many solo campers understand instinctively. When you're alone, every interaction carries weight. You're aware of how dependent you are on your own judgment. As the afternoon went on, Nikki cooked, organized, and settled in. That's when the most terrifying events began for Nikki.
We have literally just got here an hour ago. Not only that, there's like 4 cars, there's 3 men, and I guess they brought their sons and grandsons or whatever, but they are extremely loud. Not only that, they're taking their tents and they're putting them like 20 foot away from mine. I just decided to pack all my stuff up out of my tent. I left my tent outside, and put everything back into the back of the 4Runner, and I'll just stay back here tonight, which is okay, because I like being back here. It's just, I don't know, it's just that just wasn't the plan. Good morning. We woke up to rain, which I knew there was going to be a chance of. So looks like we're going to be packing up in the rain, which is okay. I didn't bring my raincoat or my poncho, but it'll be okay.
A group arrived. Several vehicles, multiple adult men, and a cluster of teenage boys. Instead of spacing out across the campground, they began setting up unusually close to Nikki's site. Too close. Not long after, the men approached her and claimed there had been a mistake. According to them, they had reserved not only the campsite next to hers, but hers as well. The problem was simple and unsettling. The ranger station was closed. There was no one to verify their story. Nikki checked the post marking her campsite. Her name was still there. The dates matched. The booking system had confirmed her reservation. She calmly explained all of this. It didn't matter. Despite her proof, the group stayed. 4 vehicles, 3 adult men, teenagers moving around loudly, and instead of choosing another open site, they deliberately set up roughly 20 feet from her tent. That decision changed everything. For Nikki, it wasn't just inconvenient, it was a warning sign. The proximity felt intentional. The imbalance was impossible to ignore. She was alone. They weren't. She made a decision that may have saved her from a long, dangerous night. Rather than sleep in her tent, she quietly moved her belongings back into the 4Runner and locked herself inside. The tent stayed up, empty, while she spent the night in her vehicle, alert and listening. Nothing happened, but the absence of an incident didn't erase the fear. Morning came with rain. Cold, steady rain. Nikki packed up in wet clothes, unfazed by the discomfort. At that point, she just wanted distance. Before leaving, she tried to reclaim a piece of the trip by going for a hike on nearby trails. The campground was nearly empty again. Ice covered the ground. One wrong step could have sent her sliding into freezing water. She made it back safely. Still, one question followed her home. Were those men telling the truth? Was it really a booking error, or was something else at play? There was nothing supernatural about that night. No ghosts, no unexplained sounds, just people. And in isolated places, that's often what makes the situation most dangerous. Nikki trusted her instincts, and that decision ensured she drove away safely. But the unease of that encounter remains, a reminder that in the outdoors, the greatest threat isn't always what you can't see. Sometimes it's standing right beside you. Cassandra isn't known for posting anything unusual. Her TikTok account is made up of everyday moments, quiet routines, small check-ins, nothing meant to shock or scare. That's why one video she posted caught so many people off guard. It was just after 3 a.m. when she woke up. Something outside her cabin didn't sound right. At first, it was just noise, subtle, indistinct, but enough to pull her fully out of sleep. Still groggy and uneasy, she moved toward the window and looked out into the darkness surrounding her property. That's when she noticed it.
What the fuck is that?
Beyond the fence line, something tall stood in the shadows. Not clearly defined, just a shape, upright, moving slowly enough to register as intentional. Unsure of what she was seeing, Cassandra reached for her phone and started recording. As she adjusted her angle and tried to focus, the shape shifted. Then it was gone. Confused and unsettled, she stepped closer, turned on a flashlight, and scanned the same spot. In the beam of light, a cat stood calmly where the figure had been moments earlier, small, ordinary, completely out of place compared to what she thought she'd seen. Before she could process that change, a loud knock hit her door. Not a tap, not a scrape. A forceful knock that echoed through the cabin. Cassandra didn't open the door. Instead, she called the police immediately. According to her follow-up, officers drove by the property but never stopped. Later, she was told they didn't see anything unusual and left the area. No explanation was given. From a rational standpoint, there are easy possibilities. It could have been someone messing around late at night, a visual illusion caused by darkness and fatigue, a trick of shadow and movement that the brain filled in with fear. But some viewers noticed something else. In the brief footage, the shape didn't look animal-like at first. It appeared taller, broader. Some even pointed out what looked like horn-like edges before it disappeared. The timing didn't help either. A figure, then a cat, then a knock at the door. Coincidence? Or something more? So what do you think happened that night? Was it nothing more than a prank or a misinterpretation in the dark? Or was someone, or something, testing how close it could get without being seen? The next case takes us to England, deep into one of the country's most legendary woodlands. The footage comes from D&D Paranormal, a UK-based investigation team known for a restrained, methodical approach. Rather than chasing dramatic moments, they focus on quiet locations tied to folklore, documenting subtle environmental changes and unexplained reactions in real time. On April 12, 2025, their investigation brought them to Sherwood Forest. Specifically, an area surrounding the major oak and a nearby site often referred to as the Witch's Bowl, a place long associated with reports of shadow figures, strange movement, and unexplained nighttime encounters. As darkness settles, Steve and Susie begin setting their equipment along a fence line and footpath. EMF meters are placed carefully. A REM pod is positioned nearby. The forest is calm, no wind, no voices, only the faint rustle of leaves far beyond their lights. Then, without warning, a device reacts.
Inches away then, and and they don't actually red line when you get to them. They go right up, but that's why I always keep them at arm's length, and they never actually.
Well, I've been holding mine like
Yeah,
this, and it's been going off. Can you make it go off again for us, please? Could you make them go to red, and then we really know that you're here with us? Again, that was just mine that went off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Again, we can't see you. Okay, if this is you, this is amazing. Can you touch that again, the red light? Go near them, just to show us that this is you.
That could have been Breeze.
It was so on cue.
It was.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Steve? Steve, what's going on?
It's not that windy, Suze, is it?
A sharp electronic tone breaks the silence. At first, they question it. Reflections, interference, maybe someone passing nearby. But nothing explains what they're hearing. The temperature remains steady. The air is still. Moments later, one of the EMF meters suddenly tips forward and falls. There's no visible cause. What makes the moment more unsettling is the timing. Just before the device drops, its indicator lights shift, suggesting a brief spike in electromagnetic activity. Steve later points out that the change happens seconds before gravity takes over. Wind is mentioned as a possibility, but it doesn't quite fit. The breeze is barely noticeable, and other devices remain untouched. Then the REM pod activates. Its lights flicker, its tone repeats. No one is near it. As the team watches, the equipment reacts again. Readings fluctuate, colors shift, signals spike. Steve explains that certain readings indicate proximity, suggesting something may be close to the device itself. They speak calmly, asking simple questions, requesting interaction, inviting whatever might be present to respond again. Soft thuds echo from deeper in the forest, not loud, but distinct. At the edge of their light, shadows shift against the trees. Susie notices something pale for a brief moment, a shape against a birch trunk that resembles a hand before fading back into darkness. They don't chase it. They stand still and listen.
Could have been that tree. I did think I saw someone, but I think it's that, that tree where it
Yeah,
comes
that
out.
little stump. I think.
No, the big tree there.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it was that I saw. I thought I saw something white for a second.
Oh.
But I think it was the tree. Yeah, I think it was actually. Damn it. Just as I was asking to say goodbye as well, it was like, oh. Would you like to come say goodbye to us in your own way?
Again.
I've just seen something. Oh, I can't make the torch lit. You see that like birch tree going up?
Yeah.
It was there. Can you come say goodbye? In your own way.
The forest seems to respond in fragments, a sound here, a flicker there. The REM pod activates again, unpredictably. Steve notes that this behavior is rare. In all their investigations, he's only seen it happen like this once before. They acknowledge uncertainty. Environmental factors are discussed openly: wind, wildlife, equipment sensitivity. But as they point out, the breeze grows stronger later, and none of the devices fall again. The sequence matters. Before packing up, they ask one final time for a clear response. Something deliberate, something unmistakable. The devices remain quiet. With that, they thank whatever may have been present and begin shutting everything down. There's no dramatic ending, no final reveal. Just the lingering sense that something had been there, close enough to interact, but never close enough to be seen. As they leave Sherwood Forest, the silence returns, and whatever caused those reactions stays behind, hidden among the trees. This footage opens deep inside Ohio's Shawnee State Forest on a spring night in late April. The channel behind the camera is Exploring Intuition, a solo outdoor exploration project focused on unfiltered wilderness travel. No crew, no dramatics, just one person, a camera, and whatever the environment decides to reveal. From the start, the explorer emphasizes one thing above all else: survival. He reminds viewers that filming in remote places isn't harmless. Trails are uneven. Terrain is unpredictable. Darkness turns minor obstacles into serious threats. He shares a warning story about a filmmaker who lost his life trying to protect equipment instead of himself. A reminder that out here, safety comes before footage. The trail he's following stretches for miles, winding deeper into the forest. He makes it clear he has no intention of wandering too far. His vehicle is his lifeline, and distance matters when you're alone in the dark. The destination is a place locals know as Dead Man's Hollow, reached by following a bridle trail that cuts through dense woods and drops into a narrow valley. As he moves forward, he notices something unusual across the hollow: a pocket of darkness where the trees thin unnaturally. Experience tells him that kind of visual void often means exposed rock, maybe even a cave. Curiosity wins, and he shifts direction toward the creek below.
Hollow has long been rumored to be haunted. There have been reports of disembodied screams and voices, so we're going to see what happens tonight. I don't have a lot of time before the sun sets, and I want to get back here and set up a little base camp, so I'll pick you guys up here in a little bit. Ordered from Amazon, but with everything going on, it's just going to take like a month to get here. But I look forward to getting that because it's going to help me with my videos in the future, and I like seeing where I'm going. Maybe I'm a little paranoid, but it is a little creepy back here, and every now and then it's not a bad idea to look behind you just to see what's following you. And if I can find it, once I get back here and set up base camp, I will tell you guys the story of Dead Man's Hollow. There's the creek. Pretty cool little creek. Be a great place to come back and do some camping, but Shawnee State Forest doesn't allow primitive camping, at least as far as I know. You maybe have to get a permit or something like that.
The forest is quiet in a way that isn't comforting. Water rushes constantly through the hollow, masking other sounds. That steady noise plays tricks on perception. Several times he pauses, convinced he's heard movement, only to dismiss it as water echoing off stone. Still, the creek is deep, and crossing it in the dark isn't simple. He searches for a safer place to cross. Moments after reaching the opposite bank, something small strikes nearby. A sharp sound, a quick impact. It feels like a pebble, thrown. He stops moving. From somewhere across the creek, a twig snaps. Not close, not far. Roughly the distance where visibility disappears into shadow. There's no clear source. As he attempts to set up camp, the sounds continue. Another snap. Then another. Each time he pauses, the forest goes silent again, as if whatever caused it is reacting to him. Then comes something heavier, a loud shift from the hillside across the water, Not a branch falling naturally, but something with weight behind it. Something large enough to disturb the slope. The creek keeps flowing. The forest keeps breathing. But the pattern has changed. Every few steps he takes, he hears movement. When he stops, it stops too. The realization settles in slowly. Whatever is making the noise isn't passing through. It's pacing him. Eventually, instinct overrides curiosity. He abandons the idea of staying longer and turns back toward his vehicle. As he walks, the sound of footsteps seems to follow, not rushing, not retreating, but matching his pace through the darkness.
Into the trail. Get across. Might get too wet. Too late. Alright, trying to get up here without breaking my neck. Alright. Oops. Well, that's what happens when you go tromping around in the forest in the dark. Alright, so I'm gonna find there's like a kind of a dark void. And anytime you see that, that's usually a indication that there's going to be some sort of a rock outcropping or maybe even a cave. So then we'll head over that way and check that out. All except for that creek running over there. Times I thought I'd heard something, and I'm just convinced myself that it's just a creek making noises. It's pretty deep. May have to find another place to cross. Alright, so as soon as I got across the creek, I had something threw at me, like a little rock or something, and I thought I heard like a little twig snap about, I don't know, 40, 50 yards away from me. So I guess, I don't know, I guess it's what I signed up for. Kind of a clearing here on the other side of this creek. Looks like a good place to set up base camp. So I was just going to set up a little base camp here, and thought I heard another twig break. Now, I mean, when you're out in the woods at night, the woods do make noises, but I've always wondered, you know, when you hear a twig breaking in the middle of the night, it takes something kind of heavy to do that. And I don't think like a little squirrel or a chipmunk weighs enough to make a twig snap like that. Every time I try to set up, I hear a twig snap over there. And I can... There it is. Did you hear it? Every time I turn the camera off. It's hard to hear anything with that creek, but whatever it is, it's on the other side of that creek over there. For flash floods, though, you always want to check. Anytime you're going to be camping near the creek, you always want to check to see. Oh, man, that's crazy. I've never had this happen to me in the forest. What is there? Oh, I mean, I hate to even look up. You know, I don't know. There's something to say about that. I don't want to be getting out of here for too long. I feel kind of vulnerable back here. And unfortunately, that is the way I have to go to get out of here. Could have been a deer. I haven't seen any signs of deer or any animal actually since I've been out here. But, you know, like I said earlier in my last video, bear are starting to be active this year. And just with everything going on, it's, I think it's a good time to tap out.
No visual confirmation ever comes. No voice, no figure, no explanation. He reaches his Jeep without incident, the woods closing in quietly behind him. Nothing explicitly supernatural happens that night. There's no proof of anything beyond sound and instinct. But that's what makes Dead Man's Hollow unsettling. In places like this, isolation does the work. Darkness fills in the blanks. And when you're alone, even ordinary noises take on meaning. Sometimes the forest doesn't show you what's there, it just lets you feel it. And that's the end of the video. Make sure to hit subscribe.